Greetings, I'm Valerie Boykin, Director of the Virginia Department of Juvenile Justice, and it is my distinct honor to congratulate the Family and Children's Trust on 35 years of service to the Commonwealth. Your work to combat domestic violence and to promote safety and security for children exposed to trauma is both remarkable and outstanding. We certainly appreciate all that you've done for Virginia's children and families.
FACT is the only organization in Virginia that addresses family violence and trauma across the lifespan. And as we have learned more about trauma and its impact on public health, how it affects children, how it affects people into adulthood as they form new families, how it contributes to behavioral health problems, substance use, violence, risky behavior in teens, FACT has been at the table as a key partner, coordinator, and leader in making our systems more trauma-informed.
The FACT program is a real leader in supporting trauma-informed response and care in Virginia communities through grant funding and through their publications and advocacy for trauma-informed care in responding to families and children and clients who come for help and services with trauma. And so it's a really important resource that they bring to the Commonwealth.
In my role on the committee, I have had the good fortune to work collaboratively with members of organizations across Virginia who are committed to the safety and well-being of children. We come from a variety of perspectives and practice areas, but we share one common goal. How can we ensure that every child in Virginia can grow up safe and loved, that their caregivers and the other adults who work in their lives can get the support and education and opportunity they need and deserve?
And what trauma-informed means to me is an awareness of what other people may be going through. And having empathy and listening closely and offering up different ways that we can provide support.
We are working collaboratively with partners, our community-based service organizations, our educators, our healthcare leaders, to address root causes of issues that we continuously see pop up. We want to work as a collaborative so that we better understand where our children and families are coming from and how we can better develop relationships with them so they trust us. We build a rapport to address those issues at the heart, and then we are creating a stronger, more kind community, and we have a better understanding of the background where people come from. We don't need to know their story, but just understanding that we assume trauma is in the room. So if that's the case, how can we approach someone with a gentle heart and a kind spirit to meet them where they are and help them figure out what their needs are to be a healthier, more resilient community?
To me, trauma-informed care means approaching everyone we meet with empathy and compassion, because with the understanding that we never know what someone's story is or what they've been through.
Preventing trauma and helping families heal from trauma is important to our organization and me personally, because so many problems that we see, from problematic behavior in schools to violence in our communities to substance use issues, come from people needing to heal from traumatic experiences. And with more trauma-informed services, we can make sure that our public systems, our schools, public safety, healthcare, are helping people heal and break those cycles of trauma instead of perpetuating them. And for this reason, FACT's work is invaluable, timely, and deserves more recognition and support.
Trauma-informed care means that we are helping organizations to become trauma responsive rather than trauma-inducing. An organization that is trauma responsive provides safety, trustworthiness, transparency, choice, peer support, and collaboration. And trauma responsive organizations understand the impact of cultural, historical, and gender issues on the well-being of their staff and also of their clients. And finally, I believe that trauma responsive organizations look at every aspect of their structure, including their policies and their environmental aspect and their supervision practices. There's a wide breadth of things that we need to consider when we're looking to be a trauma-informed organization.
It has truly been an honor to work with people who have the idea of how can we take a deep dive. They're not afraid of a deep dive. We're not afraid of data and research and holding ourselves and our systems accountable. And at the same time, having the hope and faith that things can be better, should be better, and will be better.
And what trauma-informed care means to me is we provide an inviting environment. We provide a safe space. We listen and learn from the individual and then ask, how can I help?
The work of resilience is tied into everything that we do, and so we are trying to support that grassroots level of developing coping skills and life skills that will make children ready to succeed in life.
I truly believe trauma-informed care at its core is understanding that we all have experiences, and these experiences shape who we are and how we provide services. When those experiences are lovely and rosy, we see the outputs later in life. And when we can ensure that every child, family, and community is supported during these times, we can change outcomes for everyone. And that's why I'm excited to partner with FACT and other amazing trauma-informed community networks across the state of Virginia to ensure the safety and security for all Virginians.
In addition to my role on the Child Abuse and Neglect Committee, I've been honored to serve as the Executive Director of Greater Richmond SCAM for the last 22 years. One of the most impactful things that we've been able to do at SCAN has been to help create a coalition in the Greater Richmond area known as the Trauma-Informed Community Network. We created it in 2012 with partners from around our region to help have a more trauma-informed, resiliency-based system for children and families and for those that serve them. Fast forward now, 9 years later, we, with FACT's significant and long-term support, have been able to help develop 27 other trauma-informed community networks across Virginia.
FACT has a special place in the heart of our network because it was a FACT grant that in 2016 that officially launched our network. The funding that FACT made available that year allowed us to build a steering team of committed professionals, create branding and marketing materials, and the network's first and only conference to date, the We're All In conference. While the backbone organization has changed, TICN remains connected to FACT and the amazing work they are doing across the Commonwealth to help all children flourish.
Over the last year, because of FACT funding, we've been able to put what was both the Community Resilience Specialist, which is now the Community Resilience Manager position, into place to be a convener for our Southwest Virginia Trauma-Informed Community Network. This has allowed the leadership role to be at the table and be a convener, and allowed United Way of Southwest Virginia to be that backbone agency that really drives the work of collective impact across our region. When we first started, we had approximately 12 to 15 members, which were driven around health initiatives for children and families. But in the last year, we've been able to expand to a little over 100 members for our TICN, and that has allowed greater buy-in and also more resources at the table.
What our TICN does is it aims to build a more equitable, safe, trauma-informed, and resilient Alexandria by informing, supporting, and elevating our community. Hence its name, Resilience Alexandria Inform, Support, Elevate.
FACT from the beginning has noted and appreciated the importance of collaboration, not at a surface level, but in a deep way, where people truly have to work together, do that hard work of looking for ways forward that really do include everyone.
And really helps us develop some goals and actionable items around trauma and resilience to foster stronger relationships with our community service boards, as well as our school systems and other partners throughout the region.
I was interested in becoming a part of the trust fund board because I wanted to see how family violence impacted families in our state, more so than just in my small community. And I also was attracted to trying to do prevention of family violence. I am excited about the conversations that are happening now around the trauma-informed care networks and the fact that they are being established around the state, because I truly feel that there is a need for local solutions to prevention and trauma and violence issues that can't be solved at a state level. And so it's exciting to see small communities coming together and partners that may not necessarily communicate regularly with one another starting to talk about ways to prevent violence and make their communities stronger.
These networks are critical. They provide an opportunity for communities to come together who know their problems the best and know what the solutions can be. They bring together people from different sectors who sometimes aren't sitting at the same tables when these complex issues are addressed. We bring together people who've been impacted most by family violence and making sure their voices are the ones we hear as we work to create a different way forward.
FACT is focused on prevention as well as treatment of abuse and neglect and violence. And that's a really important thing. I think it's a really important component of their work because it's hard to work on prevention. And it's really the most critical piece of our response to that work. Treatment is important, but getting to the roots of the abuse and the violence and strengthening children and strengthening their families is what it's all about.
This includes everything from publishing issue briefs to raise awareness of how trauma affects families, to working at the local and regional level to fund community-based trauma prevention and awareness.
There's an art and a science to prevention of family violence, and I strongly believe that the science piece needs to be followed, but that art and the heart of prevention, if that's followed as well, can go a long way to making our communities strong and families being resilient and raising children who become contributing members to our society at large.
We've tackled many issues over the last couple of years. We often are tackling issues that are more urgent and need more immediate solutions, but we also have the fortitude and the will to tackle some of the most complex and long-term issues facing families and children and the systems that serve them in Virginia.
In 2021, FACT offered a unique opportunity to strengthen economic supports for families in our communities. We partnered with a local organization who serves directly with families and children's communities and schools of Hampton Roads.
And so how the FACT funds would help us is that we're able to reach families differently, meaning that we're able to essentially meet needs that we come across on a daily basis. So whether that be clothes needs, or whether you need assistance with transportation or rental assistance, we're able to help them in a different manner. Normally, we would refer our families out to other organizations that are sometimes have exhausted their funds, but because we have the accessibility of these funds in our discretion, we're able to meet the need directly. And so it's definitely a different way for us to help families and definitely help the students that we serve.
Through FACT funding, we've also been able to implement a COVID-19 resource guide that was requested upon us when we first received our funding last fall. That resource guide was distributed to children and families, other nonprofits throughout our region, our school districts, and other entities that have been able to utilize that to connect with mental health services in our region, as well as expand our Southwest Virginia Trauma-Informed Community Network.
So through RAISE, we were able to receive the Emergency Funds Grant. Our clients who were survivors of domestic and sexual violence were able to use it towards their rental payment, car payment, and utility as well, which they really highly appreciated.
They've been at the forefront of creating awareness of trauma-informed care and resilience with it, looking at it through an equity lens. And again, they've made a commitment, not only in terms of funds, but really in terms of determination and a willingness to see this through.
It is the FACT program in Virginia addresses abuse and violence across the lifespan. So focusing on child abuse, focusing on intimate partner violence, on sexual assault, on elder abuse. And so that's a wide range and an important one because it does include the life cycle.
I also want to say that the Department of Juvenile Justice really appreciates the guidance and support that FACT has given to our agency as we have worked with you to establish a special fund within the FACT family to support children exiting our juvenile correctional centers and returning to their communities. Many of our young people have also been exposed to violence in the homes and trauma in their homes and communities, and are in need of services as they go home to rebuild their lives. And so we appreciate the work that FACT has done to allow us to collect a special fund for those young people exiting our system who are not eligible for other resources that will help them to develop safe and secure reentry into the communities.
FACT's funding has been critical, but even more critical has been their commitment to creating a more trauma-informed Virginia. They've done it through a variety of ways, from briefs that help elevate issues of equity and resilience, the need for trauma-informed work and education now more than ever, and also by recognizing the power of coalition building and what it can do to build a real safety net for children and families across Virginia.
And then recently, through FACT funding and a collaboration with partnership and blended and braided funding, both from United Way of Southwest Virginia, the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation, as well as Ballard Health, we've been able to expand our work and to start a pilot program with a trauma-informed schools initiative, where we ultimately hope to create a trauma-informed schools designation for our Southwest Virginia schools in our region.
Happy 35th anniversary, FACT. Thank you for preventing trauma and adversity in children and ensuring they have bright futures.
We look forward to what's to come in the next 35 years.
Thank you for partnering with Voices for Virginia's Children.
It is my pleasure to be here on behalf of the network to wish a happy anniversary to the Family and Children Trust Fund, more commonly and lovingly known as FACT.
And on behalf of Families Forward Virginia, the Virginia chapter of Prevent Child Abuse America, I want to say happy 35th anniversary to the Family and Children's Trust Fund of Virginia.
So congratulations to the FACT Board for 35 years of great work in Virginia and with Virginia communities.
Again, I thank you so much for your service and congratulate you on 35 years. I wish you many, many more.
So happy anniversary, FACT, and to another 35 years of prevention work.
So thank you, FACT. Thank you on behalf of families that we have been able to serve. Thank you on behalf of partners we've been able to serve with. Thank you for understanding that the complexities of the systems that serve children warrant a thoughtful, long-term, inclusive process to make significant change. We hope you celebrate these 35 years and then get right back to the business that you do so well.